Welcome to the Undercovers football podcast. I'm Ben, along with Connor and Paul, and tonight we have a very exciting show. Um, we are officially in draft week. The draft is just 2 days away.
Finally.
I know we finally got there. I mean, it almost felt like an eternity after the season wrapped up, but we've been doing these draft previews, if you want to call them that, whatever, draft prep the last couple of weeks. So tonight, everything will culminate. We'll give our final mock draft on the Bills later on the show. We got some exciting quick takes and some other stuff, to talk about. So let's get into that. Yeah, I mean, it's an exciting time for sports. The playoffs started for hockey and basketball. Of course, the Sabres aren't there again, but I know your Lightning are representing Connor, and
That's the only playoffs I want to talk about. Don't bring up that other. Don't bring up the other one.
Oh, the Heat.
Yeah, don't bring that up.
Well, we also have the lacrosse playoffs, and hopefully
No
the
Bandits.
Nighthawks. No, Nighthawks. Hopefully the Nighthawks do some damage. Connor, you really gotta consider being a Nighthawks fan because the Bandits are too mainstream, and the Nighthawks' best player is also named Connor. So
That's
it's
amazing.
perfect.
Too late.
It's not too late.
It is way too late. Zach and Jenna got to me first. It is way too late.
No, it's not. You were a Dolphins fan, and we've successfully converted you.
That was gross. I don't talk about that time.
I think the Nighthawks would appreciate you as
Man,
part
I
of
was
their
on
fan
crack.
base.
I was on crack for 3 years. We don't talk
Yes.
about that.
Well, let's get you a Nighthawks jersey, and
Oh my
we'll be
God.
good to go. But yeah. Speaking of NFL draft, that's this week, and we got some exciting quick takes to kick off the show. One second.
Oh yes.
Just pull up our
Yeah, you've
our outline.
you got the good.
I have a fun one. Now last year, not to toot my own horn, but if you remember when we were doing our draft talk, I predicted there would be 6 quarterbacks that went in the first round because
Something like that.
you had Nix, Penix, McCarthy in the top 3, obviously.
That pick happened.
So I did say that Nix would go to Denver, which indeed happened. So I'm going to call my shot on the 4 quarterbacks that I believe will go this year in the first round, which sounds crazy, but it's a kind of a scorching quick take today. I think there's going to be 4 quarterbacks taken in the first round. Even if New York and Cleveland trade down, they could also trade back up into the first to grab their guys. But, I mean, there's teams that need quarterbacks. Let's talk about it. The Steelers obviously have, 2 quarterbacks on the depth chart right now. It's
Mason Rudolph and Skylar Thompson.
It's Skylar Thompson. I know. Yep. A name you're very familiar with there, Connor.
Don't remind me of that.
And obviously the Saints have question marks at the quarterback position too.
Yeah, Derek Carr wants out, and they're just using an injury as an excuse.
Well, I think the organization wants out on Derek Carr more so than vice versa.
Can you really blame them?
No, I cannot. But I believe you got Ward going 1, Sanders. It's interesting because it's kind of looking like the smoke around Sanders is that he might be a Pittsburgh Steeler, which it would be an interesting fit because we all know Mike Tomlin loves his divas. So that would actually be like a perfect fit right there. Obviously Jackson Dart, but I think Jalen Milroe has a chance to sneak up into the first round now.
Don't even talk about that name unless you mention him going to the Saints.
No, Milroe won't go to the Saints. I think they're all in on Dart, whether they trade down or just stay at 9 and pick him at 9. I mean,
they should do just that.
It might be crazy, but we could actually see a world where Dart goes above Sanders somehow. And it might just be because of Dart may have a little more potential than Sanders, which kind of sounds weird, but I think Sanders has the lower floor. And if you see me looking at my TV every so often, I'm also watching the Cubs game. They're losing 3-0 to the Dodgers currently, but they do have 2 men on base with no outs, so they might be cooking. Just kind of like how I'm cooking now. But Milroe, it's kind of harder to pin where he goes, but I could see a world where the Giants get Milroe because Look,
Larry.
he's I even don't want to compare him just because it sounds terrible, but you look at what Brian Dable did at another quarterback who a lot said was a project, who wasn't that refined coming in Josh Allen. But if if Dable could work with Milrow, I think he might have something to work with Jalen Milrow. And you look at their depth chart, their GM and coach already said they would like to add a rookie quarterback, but it's hard to envision that a rookie quarterback is starting day one because they're paying Russ $18 million. I don't think they're paying him to be a backup, and they still have Jameis, who is another good guy. But if you can get a guy like Milrow into the quarterback room, kind of groom him, have two experienced vets in that room, I think that's a good situation for Milrow. And obviously, the Giants have some weapons already, and say Cleveland ends up going Abdul Carter in round 2, or another team trades up to 2
It
and
would be smart.
grabs Sanders, they could get Travis Hunter and add another weapon to that room. I mean, you already have Malik Neighbors, Darius Slayton, Theo Johnson, and I am still a believer in Wan'Dale Robinson. He's a good slot guy. He's not like a great household name as Seiya Suzuki hits a double to the wall and the Cubs score 2. But yeah, I mean, I think that that would be a perfect situation for Milrow. So if I were to predict where the quarterbacks go, I'll say Ward to the Titans. That's pretty much chalk. I'd say Dart to the Saints, Sanders to the Steelers, and Milrow to the Giants. And those are your 4 first-round quarterbacks.
God, yes.
Let's get into the next quick take, which actually kind of correlates to my quick take about which team is more likely to trade down. So take it away, Connor.
It does. With how it was written, it's between the Browns or the Giants, who's more likely to trade down, and that's solely because they both fielded calls earlier in the week about trading down. I don't really think either of them would trade down, honestly. I'll tell you what I thought in complete delusion. Imagine if Brandon Bean was calling and was like, "Hey, Giants, can we take that number 3 pick from you?" And they wind up taking a guy like Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter. I mean, it'll never happen because they don't have the capital for that. But I just don't see a world where they trade down. I mean, I feel like at this point, the Browns, if the Browns are for some reason not the Browns and they do something smart, then they would just stay put at number 2 and take Abdul Carter. But this is the Browns after all. They have been known to make the dumbest decisions on draft night, except, well, one, which was Myles Garrett, and their other smart one they threw away. So I feel like if anybody trades down, it'd probably be the Browns. But I don't see them doing it. I just think that they've got such a great situation to pair Myles Garrett with Abdul Carter that you just can't pass up on that because you're gonna and where they're picking in round 2, they should have a pretty high second round pick. If they really wanted a quarterback, then there's a chance that maybe Jalen Milrow or Jackson Dart is there at their second round pick. So I don't see them having a need to really trade down. So I don't think any of them are going to trade down. But if any of them do, it might be the Browns. Maybe they get an offer from a team that really wants an impact player, but I just don't see it. There's no real reason for them to do so. If anybody in that top 10 trades down, I don't really know, honestly. If there's anybody, though, that trades down, period, it would have to be Atlanta.
I
They
will
have so
also
few picks.
yes,
That
or
they've
Minnesota.
got
Minnesota
against.
as well. We talked about this when Dean was on,
I also
but
wouldn't rule out Pittsburgh. We have like no picks. We need to get back into the second round.
we
Yeah, well, the Steelers.
okay, I was gonna say, but just to kind of throw it out there too, I mean, I know there's smoke about several players with this team, but oh, that almost was a home run. Sorry. Tie game though. So and triple for Dansby Swanson. So that's
All
what's up.
right.
But anyways, there's a lot of smoke about Duval even taking Ginty now. But honestly, what I kind of
Mhm.
think that is I think that's them trying to get Chicago to jump the Raiders to go
Ooh,
get Ashton Ginty. Because I still think, I mean, I know they've been talking about Mason Graham, Tyler Warren. Yes, they could go tight end, but this is
oh
a
boy.
deeper tight end draft class, and they could still get a Mason Taylor in the second round, or
Hmm.
even a Harold Fannin in the third down, possibly Aronde Gadsden later on. But I think a team like Jacksonville is, if they have Mason Graham in mind, they could still likely get Mason Graham at pick 10 and pick up extra draft capital, because this is a first year with a new regime. I think that team just needs a lot of talent on the defensive side.
They
It
do.
was it was kind of interesting to hear Coach Cohen, uh, his comments about the weapon room. He kind of omitted a very I would say, I won't say popular, but just a name we're all familiar with. We're talking about the receiving and tight end room and running back room at Jacksonville. And
Mhm.
don't
Yeah,
even get
that.
any ideas, Paul, when it
Yeah,
comes
don't.
to Gabe Davis. But I mean, it's going to be interesting, I guess, to see if he is even on the roster come this upcoming season. But no, I do not want Gabe Davis back. Sorry, that
Me
ship has
neither.
sailed. All right, just making sure. I know they're, and
Mm-mm.
look, this isn't something we talked about on the show as we wrap up this quick take. I was fine with them bringing back Tre'Davious White, even though I would have probably been fine. I would have actually probably preferred them bring back Douglas in that case, since he hasn't
Hmm.
had the injury concerns recently. And you all know who I wanted as a veteran cornerback,
You're talking about.
Stephon Gilmore.
Yep, I thought so. He
And
was with
I
Dallas. He was visiting Dallas
yes,
today.
and I look, I love it that
I
okay,
actually like.
well,
I
let's do
like
that
this take.
Oiler type.
I like this take.
I like
Joe
it. It's a
Burrow
hot
put it.
take, but no,
Joe
I
Burrow
mean,
being put on notice. I love it.
but no, going back to just about White. Look, I was happy he's back. It's nice to see him come back, but it's, to me, I mean, I guess I got to see the full contract details because it is with incentives. I think it is a slight overpay. I would have just given that money to Gilmore or Douglas, but I mean, y'all know Bills Mafia loves nostalgia, and
Yeah, that's
getting
why I
Trey
was.
White back put everyone in their feels in. And
Yeah,
trust me, I was fine with it, but it's not the move I probably would have made. I mean, he did have some decent moments in Baltimore, Baltimore last season. So I guess we'll see.
he looked way better in Baltimore than he did in Los Angeles. That's for
He
sure. He looked
a hundred
terrible
percent,
playing with the Rams. Like it was
a hundred
so
percent,
bad to watch.
100%. So you know what? I guess we'll see.
Hmm.
We still need a corner, and I guess we'll talk about that in our mock draft coming up. But as we transition from the quick take, this kind of goes into what we just talked about in the quick take.
That's a
Um,
lot of Trey Amos spam in the chat.
it
Look at
is
that.
best fit for Ashton Ginty, and I kind of talked about it in this potential
So many.
trade. I think it's the Bears because of, Ben Johnson
Actually,
is gonna run the
hold on,
ball.
Ben.
They
Ben, hold on.
hold
There
on, let me
was something
finish.
said. Yeah, there was something said. Go ahead and finish. But there is something to those rumors.
Okay,
There's a
we'll
rumor
see.
going around.
Okay, we'll see. I mean, Jacksonville, it would be like fun on Madden, but I
Mhm,
think the Bears really, they have
mhm.
the O line, they have the two receivers on the outside. They got Cole Kmet. And what's the best way to support a young quarterback? It's with a good run game, because it's going to
Mhm.
open up the play action. It's not going to put too much on Caleb Williams' shoulders. And we all know how Ben Johnson likes to operate his offense. He's more almost as
Oh,
a
yeah.
run first coach. And I think
Mhm.
getting a bell cow back is going to be big for them. Now, we've seen some mock drafts that actually, interestingly enough, oh, wow, what a hit. Um, sorry. that
I
was
love it.
Pete Crow Armstrong literally dropped a perfect ball right next to the foul line, which ended up scoring Dansby Swanson. So the
Going
Cubs,
from Ashton Genty to Pete
yeah,
Crow Armstrong. What a
yes,
transition.
two
I
goats.
know. It's great.
Anyway, the Cubs are up 4-3 now after it was over. but it's not anymore. So we're down 3. Now we're up 1. So let's continue. So Ben Johnson's going to want his bell cow. Raiders, it kind of makes sense because Pete Carroll had that same style of running back, like a violent, hard running style in Marshawn Lynch. So maybe they want to kind of emulate the beast mode thing. Now I know, and I'm not trying to shoot your pick down, Paul, but I know you took him to the Saints in our mock draft last week. But to me, I just think they need a quarterback more than a running back. Like they still have Kamara. Yeah. I'm pretty sure they got rid of. Did they cut Jamal Williams? I thought they did, but I mean they did draft Kendry Miller a couple of years ago, who've given them some solid reps. So I mean, to me, I think the best fit is Chicago, possibly Vegas. I mean, I guess if you go down the list and just look at it from a broader aspect, you could say a team like Cincinnati needs a running back, but they need defense. More. Pittsburgh needs a starting running back. I mean, but they're not going to be.
They're not going to do it. No
they would
way.
They would have to trade the. They would have to trade up like a lot. No. They would have to give up a lot. I just don't see it happening. Dallas is another interesting team because if you look at their running back room right now, it's Miles Sanders and Javonte Williams, who are the definition of Jags. So it will be interesting. Oh wow, another hit and another run. Let's go.
But I do want
off Dustin May, by the way, the Dodgers' best pitcher. So
nice. I did want to tell you there is a rumor going around right now. If Ginty falls far enough, that the Bears already have a plan in motion to make a trade for him by giving the exact same amount of compensation to whoever they want to trade up with. Because right now, I believe the Bears sit at 10. If Ginty falls far enough, I believe probably past Vegas, they're going to try to trade up with either the Jets or higher to get Ginty. And they've got the framework already established for that trade to work. So I feel like according to the rumor, if he falls far enough, the Bears are going to jump on it to get him. I feel like that's their main guy right now. They want Ginty at all costs, and they are going to do what they got to do to get him.
For the Bears, it's honestly, I mean, they probably have more than one person on the board, but I feel like it's Bears or nothing. It's Bears or nothing for Ashton Ginty.
It has to be. It's like how Travis Hunter is that guy that's circled on the Jags big board. If he falls to 5, there's no way he's going further than that. Jacksonville will take him in a heartbeat, but they can't trade up because there's no real reason or point, to trade just a couple of picks to get him. So they have to basically pray that Cleveland doesn't take Travis Hunter or the Giants don't take Travis Hunter. If they don't, then he's right there and he's not going past 5. But
speaking of Travis
if he's already gone, then Mason Graham will probably be that option at 5 for Duval.
Mm-hmm.
You got to say it right. Duval. You got it.
Yeah.
Duval.
Liam Cohen, man. What a
Paul,
coach.
do you have any other teams you think he's a better fit than the Bears, possibly Raiders, before we move on to our next topic?
He's been mocked a lot over the last few days or early on in the draft process. Dallas has been the team that's been mocked to him often. I feel like in that range is kind of where Ginty goes. In that farthest he'll fall is Dallas. Earliest he probably goes is Chicago.
Yeah, no, he is not getting past Chicago, straight up. I have seen all the mock drafts with Dallas. They've taken Matthew Golden, or they've taken Jahdae Barron, I think his name is, or they've taken, usually it's Matthew Golden. I feel like that's going to be their pick right there. But I think Ginty would be interesting on a lot of teams, not just the ones that are picking even in the top 15. I know it won't happen and it's not necessary, but could you imagine Ashton Ginty on the Bills?
I remember Dean said that if there was going to be a WTF pick, the Ashton Ginty would be a Bill.
That would be hilarious.
Yeah, let's just go to Travis Hunter. Well, I think this should be pretty quick.
I just worry.
Unless you guys have any very hot takes. Is it realistic for Travis Hunter to play both sides in the NFL. Now, I'll give like a 2-part question. It is, but it has to be on a snap count. Him going out there and playing 120 snaps, he'll be on the injury report by week 5 if he's trying to play full time on both sides of the ball. The realistic answer is he plays whatever team drafts him. Let's say the Giants. Now that's an interesting scenario because I already have neighbors. They have a number 1 receiver. Slayton's a good number 2 receiver, but they are paying him a decent amount to be a number 2. So are you going to pay him that much to be number 3? And they still have Robinson. So their defense definitely needs some help, but they did actually upgrade their secondary in a couple ways in the offseason by bringing in not only Javon Holland to play safety, but they also signed Paulson Adebo, who's a very solid corner. And I don't know, it kind of seems like Banks is going the Kyer Elam route after having a solid rookie season then just flopping last year, but they still had Banks, who was a first-round pick a couple years ago. So, I mean, I guess we'll see if Hunter beats out Banks. Say he does go to the Giants. If he beats out Banks in training camp to be the other corner, then maybe he plays cornerback most of the time. They put him in some packages on offense. Similar thing if he goes to Cleveland or whatever other team. I don't see him getting past 3, though, just because he is such a unicorn and can help out in both ways. But I just don't see it's realistic to play a high snap volume on both sides of the ball. I don't know what you guys think about that.
Actually, you give a good point, Ben, because I feel like on a lot of the teams that could pick him, I feel like they've got strength on one or the other side where Travis Hunter might not have to play as much of one position compared to the other. Like you said with the Giants, I feel like if he was playing with the Giants, they might actually use him more at the cornerback position than the wide receiver position. But there's a caveat. I think if he goes to Jacksonville, they are going to say, screw your snap count, and they're going to play him at both positions all the time. Because aside from Brian Thomas Jr., they have no talent at wide receiver. They have no talent at cornerback. And yeah, I hate to say it because I love my boy Jerry Jones, and he's going to be a breakout cornerback in year 2.
Well, hold on. They do have their number 1 corner. What's his name again? Is it Campbell? Tyson Campbell? He's not bad. Campbell is good when he's healthy. He just couldn't stay healthy last year. Like he's getting a pretty good contract.
But I still feel like Jacksonville would be that team to consistently make Travis Hunter play so many snaps that he just physically can't.
I don't think it's I just don't think with how physically talented the players are in the NFL and how good starting corners and receivers are, I just don't see it's possible for him to go out and play 120 snaps unless the opposing team or the team who drafts him is fine with him just getting absolutely cooked in the second half because he is so tired he can't run with Jamar Chase or even Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, guys like that. Like those guys are going to be chilling on the bench, drinking a Gatorade while he's out there running routes, and then they're going to come in and toast him. So, I mean, I don't know what your thoughts are on this, Paul.
This
good one here, Paul.
This isn't high school football. This isn't college football where you could play 150 snaps a game and still be okay for all 12 or 13 games of a season. This is the NFL. If you're going to play 150 snaps a game for 16 games, well, now it's like going to be 17, close to 18 games now. For 150 snaps for like 17 plus games, your career goes from maybe 10 plus years to maybe 6-7 years because you're already playing so many snaps. You're just going to be physically burnt out by like year 5 or 6. To me personally, wherever he goes, I feel like whatever position he chooses, honestly, he's entering the draft as a cornerback. But say if the team feels like he's a better fit at wide receiver for them, which I wouldn't think they would just draft him because they can just switch him. But like you're going to draft him as a corner, I feel like there's a part of this where you will say, we can still use his talent on the offensive side of the ball, but instead of 150 snaps a game, maybe he's getting the all of the 60 snaps on offense, and then he gets anywhere from maybe 5-10 snaps a game on offense, where you're not using him for 150. You're kind of dwindling it down to like 90 snaps a game, 80 on defense, 10 on offense, something like that. Because I don't feel like you can't ignore a Travis Hunter ability to play on the offensive side of the ball, because he's so good on the offensive side of the ball. He can be that weapon for you in an important game, So I think you draft Travis Hunter as a cornerback, you scheme him in a way to get him involved a little bit on the offense. And honestly, I think that would keep him happy as well, because he already mentioned that he wants to play both offense and defense when he comes to the NFL. Is it realistic? No, but can you make it happen? Yes.
Longevity is a big thing, and that's why I was always trying to convince everybody in Bills Mafia that wanted to trade up for Travis Hunter that it was a terrible idea and to not do it, because that brother is going to be cooked by week 6
So
if he's playing all the snaps.
So real quickly as we wrap up the general draft talk, I guess let's make this a fun activity, because we all know the biased and maybe easy answer here would be the Bills, but let's take the Bills off this list, because we all know the Bills are likely to have a great draft, because Brandon Beane usually has at least good drafts. Sometimes they're better than others, like 2018 and 2022 kind of stand out as the best ones. But outside of the Bills, which of our AFC East rivals is going to have the best draft? Now, you have a new coach in New England and Vrabel. You have a whole new regime in New York, sorry, with the Jets. And then you have a coach and
You have
GM.
Greer. You have Chris Greer. Enough
Chris
said.
Greer and Mike McDaniel, who are
Enough said.
that seat is scorching in Miami. So they're basically drafting for their jobs. I mean, you even had rumors come out today that Miami beat writers are saying it is a high possibility that they take a quarterback in like between the second and fourth round, because otherwise, if God forbid Tua gets hurt, they're relying on Zach Wilson to save their careers. So, Shota just struck out Otani. Nice. Anyways, but
I love that breakup right there between what you just said. That was amazing timing.
Thank
because
you.
It fits so well. Because you know what? I said this last week. Do you remember last week when we did the draft and I made that really crazy pick for the Dolphins? I think it was like a running back.
Yeah.
That's Greer. He is. You know what's going to happen? The Dolphins are in massive. This is something that could happen. I don't really think it will happen, but I need to prepare you guys for the possibility that it might happen, because this is just Chris Greer. If there is a guy on the board that looks really good,
let's just say a really fast guy.
be prepared for Greer to take somebody that you wouldn't think should go in the spot that the Dolphins pick. For reference, the Dolphins have the 13th overall pick in the draft. This is where I would say the absolute ceiling for Trey Amos is. Watch Chris Greer go, oh, Jahdae Barron's on the board still. No, we're taking Trey Amos. Like, that would be the absolute ceiling, and it would be the absolute Dolphins pick to take either a guy that's second on a lot of people's boards in terms of positional value, or just some random guy like a running back in round 1.
So
that would be Greer.
What team out of the three teams, though, do you think will have the best draft besides the Bills? Because easy answer is probably New England, because they have the highest pick. But I also
it's not even that. They have they have Mike Vrabel, and if he does the entire draft by himself,
yeah, but
good luck.
I don't know if he will, because Elliott Wolf has been there, but also looking at their draft class last year.
This was the response that I got, by the way, when I said Trey Amos might go 13 to the Dolphins.
Oh, please,
simply no.
Drake May, good pick.
That would be terrible, but Drake May was a great pick.
Drake May, good pick. their second round pick. Who was it again? Oh, it was Jalen Polk. Jalen Polk,
Mhm.
not a good pick. Javon Baker, I guess we'll see more, but not a great pick.
Ah,
I'm just saying, looking at the draft last year from Elliott Wolf, I don't know how good of a GM he is. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what they do year 2, but
exactly.
the
Draft
Jets,
picks. Draft picks really take
honestly,
about 2 years.
I'm gonna go and I'm gonna say the Jets. It might be a hot take, but I think they have the best draft somehow because they're probably not going to reach on a quarterback because of what they're paying Justin Fields. And I think this is
Thank
going to
you.
be like a tryout year for him. So if Fields does okay, then great. If he doesn't, they'll probably draft a quarterback next year. I could still see them going with a mid-round quarterback because I mean
Stop that.
I love Jordan Travis, but
You
that
know what?
regime
I've actually.
hold
Ooh,
on. That regime did not draft Jordan, so they're gonna have no ties to Travis. And Tyrod only has one more year on his deal, so they'll probably draft a late round quarterback either way.
oh yeah,
But I just
absolutely.
I just think Aaron Glenn coming from Detroit, excellent drafting team recently. Darren Muji Moogie, however you say his name, the GM coming from Denver. They've had some pretty good drafts too recently under Sean Payton and whoever their GM is. I think it's George Patton. But looking at where those two guys came from, I think they should I think they should do a good enough job with the draft. Again, I'm with you on Miami. Don't have any faith. We all know Greer's gonna pull out some picks, just like who? And
Or somebody way too soon.
right,
Janae Barron on the board. Trey Amos. Trey Amos on the
right.
board. Azare Thomas.
Or they just go Walter Nolan and get another undersized D tackle, which I guess
Don't you
would work
dare
next to
diss.
Steeler.
Don't you dare diss that man. Walter Nolan is going to be a stud in this league.
He might be, but yeah, Paul, real quickly, let's do this so we can get into our mock draft.
Honestly, I am going to go with kind of like I feel like the easy answer is the best answer here. I think it's
Okay.
going to be New England.
All right.
They're right
Usually
there.
you're the opposite in these type of questions. Usually you like overanalyze stuff
Well,
and
because I don't feel because the Jets for some reason are just going to be the Jets in the draft because that's who they've been the last few years. I mean,
Mhm.
Miami is just Miami. They're just bad at drafting anyways. In New England,
Mostly bad at
honestly,
drafting.
they have Mike Vrabel as their head coach. I think he's going to have some input in the draft, but I think the GM is going to be doing the drafting here, making that final decision.
Mhm.
They're just that close to contending in the AFC. They just need another good draft class, and I think another
see.
good draft class gets them there.
I guess when
Agreed.
we do our season previews, I'm definitely gonna strongly disagree. But let's get into the star of the show, our Bills mock drafts and our draft topics. We can kind of work in as we go. But Connor, do you have the PFF simulator pulled up?
I do, as a matter of fact. Let me see now if I can
Let's let's also maybe adjust the settings because I don't know if we want to do lightning because then if there's someone on the board that we want to trade, it would make it hard. So maybe we'll just see. So yep, speed maybe a little bit more than what it is, like between fast
Oh,
and there.
all
Or can
right.
you
Yeah.
go one down?
One down takes it to about right
Okay,
here.
that's fine.
And then we want to go completely public board because if you
Okay.
go PFF board, you will get some wild,
Yeah.
wild picks. Like I've watched the
Positional
Titans.
value, I would
I
say
watched the
maybe put
Titans do
that like in the middle. Yeah, and then what's under that draft for
draft
needs?
for needs, and
I would
then
put it maybe in the middle too, because you
I
also want to
usually
do
do.
best pick available and randomness. Let's just put it like 75, just for the hell
Oh,
of it.
randomness will make some teams do some crazy things. Like I saw like no, when I did one of
Wait, did
these
you
with
say
randomness,
Shitter Sanders? That's
no,
what it sounded like.
no. I don't even know why I was talking about him. One time I did one of
That's
these
what I'm
with
gonna call him from now on.
oh, believe me, the city of Pittsburgh will call him that forever if he winds up going there and is bad. But no, I did one of these with the randomness like up to like half, just a little bit more than half like this. It made Cam Ward fall all the way to 21.
Well, if that happens in our mock draft, it happens. We're here for
All right. So if
randomness. We're here for chaos. I
all right,
mean,
we're
you
here for
never know what's
chaos.
going to happen in the NFL draft because I don't think any of us would have predicted in our wildest dreams last year that Atlanta would have taken Michael Penix at
That was
pick 9
hilarious.
after signing Kirk Cousins.
That was absolutely hilarious. All righty. So 7 rounds, only Bills, no trades. So
There
we
is
aren't going to
trades.
go try to trade up to get Kenneth Grant, even though I wish the Bills would absolutely consider it.
I mean, he
All
might
right.
be on the
No, we are
board. We'll
doing
see.
trades.
Yeah, no, we are doing trades. We're just it's kind of got to be like
So we're going to do
only
trades?
Bills. Yeah, because if we would have done
Right.
trades last week, we would have been
Okay.
like doing like a 24-hour
yeah.
mock draft with
Oh, yeah.
7 rounds
yeah.
for every team. So just start her up.
All right. So I'm going to put it in the middle for right now, just in case. Actually, I might knock it down one more if we're going to consider trades.
Well,
So,
just put it in the middle and we'll see how it goes.
all right. So, okay. It's in the middle,
Hit
and we're
start.
going to start this draft.
Yeah, that's fine, Speed.
Look at what just happened. Tet McMillan to the Giants at 3rd.
That is
Travis
crazy.
Hunter at 2nd.
And Abdul
Armin
Carter to the
Bembo.
Patriots. If that happens, I will be
I will
very,
die. I will die.
very
And then Armin
angry.
Bembo to the Jaguars
All
at
right.
5. This is already chaotic. I love it. Let's keep going. There he went.
The Jets took Sanders. All
They
right, that
did.
is hilarious.
Oh, Janae Barron. Derek Harmon.
Alright.
I have been talking about this for a while. Derek Harmon is getting up there in the draft. I wouldn't be surprised if something like this happened, like if he went before Kenneth Grant.
So
But-
this
Alright.
is trade up territory if through the Bills,
Yeah.
kind of like in this 18 to
Let's get to
24-ish
Pittsburgh
range.
and see how it goes through
Right.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah. All right. We're going to keep going all the way to 30. Josh Simmons to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I guess we'll
I-
go there.
Oh my God. Baltimore.
All right.
We have some very interesting
Scroll up,
options.
scroll up. See who Baltimore took.
Kenneth Grant.
Dang it, we were so close.
I love
mean,
it. I
in
love
this
the Josh Simmons.
scenario-
I love the Josh Simmons 21. God, that makes me happy.
In this scenario, I think we all know who the majority of us would take.
Mhm.
Walter Nolan.
No,
No,
Trey Amos.
Trey Amos. This is 30. 30 is
Perfect.
either
Range for Trey Amos. It's Trey Amos or trade down or maybe trade up for Kenneth Grant. Now, if both, this kind of leads into one of our draft questions. If both Grant
It really kind of does.
and Amos are on the board, who are you taking? Because that's really tough.
If
I
Gr-
might
okay.
lean Grant, but honestly,
No,
I
mine
wouldn't be mad
is.
either way.
I'm not going to be mad either way either, but mine is 100% Kenneth Grant. If he's there at 30, you take him at 30. But if Amos is there at 30, you take Amos, like easily. So in this case, Amos is there.
Grant-
We're going to grab him right now.
Yes.
Grant and Amos
let's
are
pause
is
it one
splitting
more
hairs
time
at
quickly.
30.
Go up a little bit because I believe this was another one of our draft topics that we were kind of discuss. You're right here. Are you considering a trade down? How far do you think would be a good area to trade down? Let's just say
Don't trade
They-
one pick down again. For the love of
Yeah,
God, don't trade with the
scroll
Chiefs
down.
again.
Let's see who else is around there. Because I don't think I want to trade much further than maybe like towards Jacksonville is or Raiders. Because I really don't want to let New England pick twice before we pick once. Because there might
Jenna
be
makes a good point. Look at who the Chiefs took with their first
that
round pick.
actually is kind of a Chiefs pick. Considering they took Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the first round at one point. But yeah, I mean, I really think if you do a trade down, it should look like what they did last year,
Mhm.
except don't do it with Kansas City, preferably.
Yeah,
Although if Kansas
don't do
City gives us a Godfather offer to move up one pick, I might consider it. And that's as long as they don't draft Trey Amos. If they draft Trey Amos and we trade down, I
Right.
might crash out draft night. But
I would
think
too.
I think I'm fine with the board as it is, and
Mhm.
You know,
how we
remember,
pick.
remember what I said earlier, though, about the Browns not trading down? This is why. See, they've got pick 2, right? They could easily just go Abdul Carter, or in this case, they went Travis Hunter. Their next pick right there is 33. If they want a guy like Jackson Dart or Jalen Milrow,
Wait,
there's
so
the
the
pick to take
Giants really took Tet McMillan and Jaden Higgins? If that happens, Joe Shane is really getting fired. But
yeah, Ted
but-
McMillan at 3.
let's continue.
And then Jaden Higgins. Yeah,
Alright.
at that point, Joe Shane's getting fired.
All right.
Luther
All
Burton to the Jets. Wow. Kyle Williams to the
Alright.
Dolphins.
That seems like a Dolphins.
Oh man,
pick.
Jalen Royals just went. Okay.
Okay.
All right. We are
now-
here.
Now, I think you took him last year or last week, not last year, in our mock draft, because this is where I'm kind of thinking you go defensive line or edge, and
I think
Darius
so too.
Alexander's kind of standing out to me. Like, scroll down a little bit more.
Yeah, he's right
I know
there.
they've met with TJ Sanders, no on Demetrius Knight. We don't really need a linebacker. I mean,
Not this
that's
Stu.
Tumi Loa. I'm kind of liking yeah, I'm liking Darius Alexander there. I don't know how you guys feel about that pick, but
I kind of like it too, but I want to
all
hear
right,
you guys'
majority
opinions.
rules.
I want to hear your guys' opinions on
All
Omar Norman
right,
Bot, though. I just want to hear the opinions. He's
he's
generating some
undersized.
buzz elsewhere.
He's undersized. The Bills need some more beef on that D.
I
Yeah,
also
we
They
want
need
to
need
fat
hear
we need
boys.
big boys.
Jenna
that is true.
voted for Alexander, so that's majority.
Yeah, that is definitely majority. I just want to hear other opinions too,
There are
especially on a
no
guy
other opinions on this pick. It's Darius
not
Alexander.
this pick. I meant in general.
Oh,
Ben,
well,
thank you. Because the Bills, I would definitely say also could use help at safety, but I think this would be just a little too high for a guy like Kevin Winston Jr.
no,
here.
they need a guy like
They
if
need
they
the
do
big
it.
they need
Yes,
big
they
boys.
need Darius Alexander. So let's go. I mean, the Bills are coming right up again. So if there's someone you liked, I mean, they so could double dick and
This is
dip
where
at
I go
D
wide
tackle.
receiver.
Well, hold on. Let's see. Go down.
Yeah,
I want
who's
to
on
see
the
how the board looks. I mean, you could go Makuba here.
I actually would
I mean,
consider
yeah.
that, to be honest.
I mean,
Andrew
you
Makuba
hold
right
on.
here.
Let's see. Let's keep going. I gotta get my
She ain't
D line
wrong.
before safety. I mean, we did go D line.
Doesn't hurt to
I
do it
guess we go
again.
edge. Well, do we have any trade offers? Click trade.
I
Do they
don't
give us an
believe
offer or?
no, that's just yeah,
I
no,
Well,
mean,
that's
let's see
DJ
who's
West is
picking.
there.
Hold on. Let's see who else has more picks because I feel like this would be a good trade down spot to try to see. Scroll down into the third round. I want to see if any team has 3 third-round picks or 2 third-round picks. Sorry.
you know
Uh,
what? No,
We
I don't.
have later round picks though to trade back into the third round. I mean, we
No.
don't need
yeah.
all 11 picks, and
Yeah,
trading
but
down just
if you can
adds
get
more.
2 third-round picks, though, that wouldn't be a bad
You
idea
know
at all.
what? You know what? I thought about this a second ago. I don't think Omar Khan would be interested to jump from 83 all the way into 62. I think if he wanted a second round pick, he would have done so
All
already.
right, scroll down a little bit again.
But I think that
What
maybe
about the
Hmm.
Raiders? What about the Raiders? Or no, they probably lost their other third because of the Geno trade.
Yeah, because they got 68. Let me scroll down a little bit more. Yeah, they lost it because of the Geno trade. It's like how
scroll up.
the Steelers lost their second because of the DK trade. I don't really think there might be any opportunity here unless Omar Khan got desperate, which
I
I
mean,
don't
you've
see
got
it.
CJ West, Alfred Collins. I mean,
To be completely
Mm.
honest,
This is a deep defensive line draft. Like you could get someone later. I mean, I'm kind of liking the idea of Makuba at this
so am
spot
I.
because you get your starting safety tandem for the next 5+ years locked
mhm.
down.
To me, it just
He
seems
fits
like
the run
this is
well.
right.
He's a good blitzer. He could play coverage. Like I kind of like Makuba in this scenario. Like you can still get another defensive tackle later on. And I'm just looking. There aren't any like Restrepo, Aomanor. Like there aren't any receivers that are
would be
jumping
cursed.
out on me right here. Like I don't like. I
Yeah,
know he ran
I
a
mean,
decent
Jalen
40.
Noel. I
he
mean,
doesn't jump out to
Jalen
me either.
Noel,
Not
yeah,
in
he's
not in
more
this.
of a
Not
slot
like
guy though. So I mean,
mhm.
I think yes, I
Where
would
does
like
I
Kyle
more
Williams
on
rank in
offense.
their wide
He already
receiver?
went.
Go to the
He
wide
already
receiver
went.
really
He
quick.
already went.
yeah,
Mine
he already
Oh, he
went.
did?
He's gone,
Yeah.
and
So
he's gone for
I'm
probably the
feeling
worst choice
Makuba
in
here.
Oh, that would be ugly.
Yeah, I'm feeling Makuba. I don't know.
Darius Alexander, Jenna.
We took Darius Alexander at 56, and we took Trey
That's low
Amos
key.
at 30.
That's low key why I'm really going on the Makuba train right now is because
I'm on Makuba too.
we already took defensive interior defense and then we took Trey Amos at 30. I feel like right here you would absolutely take safety just to bolster the position. because this draft class gets deep once you keep going into the. So I feel as if we take Makuba now,
Yes. Take
and
Makuba.
I might have to look and see. There was one trade I made a long time ago, but for right now, we're going to take Makuba and move on.
All right,
All
now
right.
we have to think about third
Yeah.
round trade in.
Yeah, because I'm going to stop it at 7. I'm going to stop it at 80.
All right.
Okay, so let's see who went. Jalen Noel to Dallas. Lol. Okay. Omar Norman Lott to the Jets. Okay.
Who's on
Damian
the? Is
Martinez
there a
to
way
the
we can see the
Patriots.
board?
Yeah. There should be. Isn't there a way to
Uh,
big board, right?
I
Or
don't
no, that's
think.
not it.
No, you
No.
can't actually view the board until. This is the only way you can actually view the board as it sits. There was. I'm just
I would
looking.
just resume it.
The reason I stopped right here is because in one of the. What's already? Hold on. Our next pick is. Oh yeah, 109. Okay, yeah, it's already way too late for that. I'm gonna keep going because in one of them I traded with when I did a Steelers mock, I traded with the Bills to get out of 83 and get higher, but it's already too late for that now. So we're gonna keep going. Vernon Broughton, who is that?
Oh man, CJ West just went. Oh my.
Jackson Dart to the Rams. I've been trying to tell you guys that for eons. They're gonna take a quarterback and look
They
at how
could.
far he fell.
I don't think Dart's fallen that far though. Let's just continue. Hit resume.
This pick makes me happy though. Vernon Broughton, another defensive lineman to the Steelers. Please. Dorian Strong to the Dolphins. Chris Paul Jr. to the Browns.
All right. What are we
We
looking at
have
now?
we have some
Scroll
interesting
down.
options here.
Yeah, I mean we could go Savion Williams. There's Isaac Tesla. I kind of like Torrey Horton though. I think he would have ran faster if it wasn't for the injury, and I think he would probably be a second or third round pick if he wasn't hurt and missed a lot of the season. Like Tesla, yeah, but he's more of a project to me. I really like Torrey Horton. He's got the speed we're looking for at the receiver room, and I think this is the spot where you kind of want to start taking some offense. So, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'll probably take Horton here.
Yeah, I'm gonna also be on the same boat. If we're gonna go wide receiver here at all, like this far down, then you can't afford to waste a pick like that on a project. You got to get the guy that you know can easily just step into the offense and become that kind of guy right away. So if any of them, because admittedly I haven't done much of the research onto the wide receiver prospects this far down. Which one did you say, Ben, that you thought was more of the project guy? Was it Tesla or was it
Tesla?
Okay, Tesla. I like the name. But didn't the Bills meet with Billy Bowman Jr. a few times?
They did, but we already took Makuba.
But in this case, we wouldn't do it again because we already took safety.
Connor's just living for chaos.
I mean, if we didn't take Makuba, Billy Bowman Jr. would have been great, and then I would have used 50. I would have used 60, whatever was 62 at wide receiver, because I feel like that would have been, me personally, I think that would have been way better to me. Would just be something that you could get like a Jalen Royals there.
Wait.
You could probably get a Kyle Williams because they both went mid-third.
Wow. I didn't even notice that. They got Jalen Milroe at 93, the Saints did. Does that not seem realistic to you guys? It seems like it would be a little low, but it seems like he'd still fall to the Saints in the right conditions. But for the sake of our draft, are we all, or at least Ben and I,
we're taking
Tony
Horton. Torrey.
Yeah, that we can do that.
Torrey Horton is ours.
Okay.
Welcome to Buffalo.
Let's also, because I don't think we're really looking to trade
anymore.
Let's go to fast so
the Dolphins took a quarterback.
That is hilarious.
Dolphins took a quarterback.
I think we increase the speed to fast just so we can kind of get through this a little quicker.
Yeah, I've hit fast.
And let's resume because I don't think the Bills. There's really no one jumping out for trades.
Oh, would you look at that? The Steelers took Billy Bowman and the Packers took Josh Farmer. There he goes, Ben.
So let's see. Scroll down. Can we look at the edges, maybe?
We're taking.
Yeah, I was just about to think
that.
Edge.
Yeah. Let me go to. I'm just gonna look at it as a whole. So we have Ahmed Hassanein here at what here, and then any of these guys stand out to any of you? I've heard Tyron.
Powell
I've heard
Ryland,
of
I think,
Tyree in
has
here.
some Bills interested. I
Yeah,
think
we'll
the
go
Bills
ahead.
have
Who does?
Powell Ryland.
Mm-hmm.
Antoine Powell Ryland from Virginia
him.
Tech. Yes.
All right. Well, we'll take him.
There was some Bills interest in Ryland there. I mean, I think he's a
Riley?
solid player. Oh,
Wait a minute. Hold on. I got to scroll up and see what we missed. Trevor Etienne to the Jets is an interesting pick. Craig Woodson at 156. Oh, there's your other guy, Paul. Isaiah Bond to the Cardinals.
let's go to your
This
picks
is
for a
not.
minute.
This is not a
I just
Greer
want to
pick
recap
right
our
here.
picks really
That is
quick.
not a Chris Greer
So
pick.
we took Trey Amos,
Yeah.
Darius Alexander, Andrew Makuba, Torrey Horton, Antoine Powell Ryland. I actually kind of like this draft now that I look at it.
Low key, we are kind of cooking. I feel like we should definitely consider a double dip at either edge
Mm-hmm.
or defense or interior defensive line, and at the worst, right here, you double dip
Let's
at
look
wide
at both
receiver.
of those boards combined and see who's the highest.
But yeah, so we've still got. If you're talking about the PFF board right here, then Tyree and Ingram Dawkins is the highest that they have. Obviously,
Who's the
skip the
highest
next two because we're
interior?
not drafting quarterback. Dante Thornton Jr. is the highest wide receiver, but I still feel like Tim Smith. What a name out of Alabama. Tim Smith. That seems like a Madden-generated name.
I would say either him or Quincy Riley because I think we still kind of need to keep addressing the corner room as well. So either Smith or Riley, whatever you feel like is a double dip is better at right now.
I am going to vote for Tim Smith. I think the Bills need more help on on the defensive line as a whole because I just kept watching the Eagles dismantle the Chiefs.
We all know we love democracy here, so you will be the deciding vote here whether we go Tim Smith or Quincy Riley. So go ahead.
I'm going to go Tim Smith because I kind of agree here with
I think
Connor here. I feel like
just to draft a guy named Tim Smith. But I won't disagree.
Drafting the match-generated name. I'm sold. But no, for real. I am much more into fixing the defensive line than cornerback for now. And that's only because we signed Trey White.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think Trey White's good depth. I don't think he's going to turn into... I think he's just great depth for the Bills. But to me personally, I feel like...
Loa Giants, what are you doing? He is not your future with how badly you guys build up quarterbacks.
I feel like that the Bills definitely need defensive line a little bit more. Let's see what's their next pick.
The good thing is wait, we're picking twice in a row. We could literally
so
just
you can go
both.
Tim Smith here, then Quincy Riley next.
Literally, we're gonna just do both. We're gonna take
perfect.
Tim Smith at 169, and then where'd he go? Quincy Riley at 170. And look, we're already picking again at 173.
I mean, now you can go Ingram Dawkins if you want.
Oh, New England! Dang it! I really wanted. I did. I wanted a tight end. What other tight ends are available right now? I know we pick again soon. I feel like we need a third tight end.
177. Why are we looking at tight end? And
because
I'm only asking.
We only have. Well, I guess we technically have three tight ends on the roster.
We have three. Kincaid, Knox, and Morris. I don't really think.
No, Morris is a free agent.
Morris is free agent.
Oh yeah. I thought they re-signed him, or
no,
did they not?
They did not. So we could use a tight end. Let's see. I mean, we can take one later on too. Who else is available?
I think so too. I kind of like the idea of Ingram Dawkins because we only have one edge, but
I'll say this. We also look at the quarterback room, and I feel like we need I was just gonna say we need someone to develop behind Josh, and I don't really want to keep paying Mitch Trubisky or Mike White. I would rather just get and here's the thing: if yours ever gets playing time and he's good, you can kind of do what the Patriots did with Milton, I almost said Milrow, with Joe Milton, and flip him for a higher pick because we all know how quarterback needy the teams are in the NFL. So.
I would also argue
we could
get him at 177 or 206 if you want to get a project quarterback.
Well, so let's get it.
I
Or
feel
we
like
could get a running back. We still have
see,
to take a
yeah,
running back.
Mullings
yeah.
would be
Yes,
great.
I like Mullings. Let's
I was
grab
looking right
Mullings
at him,
here
and I think
and
this is a
pray
good
that
one.
Ewers is still available. Watch Dallas take Ewers though. Oh, they
Oh,
actually did.
nope,
All right, let's
nope,
take.
he's
I
right
feel
here.
like this is a good spot to take Ewers.
If you really want Ewers, because you remember we still have a pick in the 200s.
Yes, I think I
So
am because I think we checked all our boxes besides possibly linebacker, but we can still grab Sean Dolak with our last pick.
we'll see if he's
I was just
around.
thinking that too.
Actually, yeah, I think let's go for it. So right now I'm gonna take we're gonna take Ewers, and we're gonna see how the board falls.
Hook him
Dylan Gabriel,
to who?
Pittsburgh.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I
Oh, we also
actually,
could have had
I
Kyle
low.
McCord.
Oh man,
But
I low
do
key
we have any?
love it.
How many more picks do we have?
This is literally our last pick. O'Donnell
Oh,
Fortune to the
do
Rams is
do we go
interesting.
linebacker here?
Kobe King to the
Yeah, I
Bengals
think
is
we
interesting.
should hit a
Let's
linebacker here.
grab Sean Dolak if he's available. Go to
He should be.
linebackers.
Yeah, I'm
I
just
think
gonna
he's in
look.
like the 400s. Like his rankings is not fair to him at all. Go down. Yeah, you're gonna have to probably keep scrolling a little bit. Yeah,
There
there
he
he is.
is.
Dolak, 313.
313. This is gonna
Wow.
be a massive F on the board, but I'm taking him right now. That's gonna be our picks. I'm gonna stop it right before the end because I want to see who does what elsewhere. Why did we take what? Why? What are you idiots doing over there?
Who? Miami?
Well, actually, yes. If you look, take a look and see what a defensive interior defense this late. The third safety. They've drafted 3 safeties. If you guys have been paying attention, the Steelers took
They must really
3
need a
safeties.
safety.
Like they don't even need safety that bad, and they took 3 of them. Oh, look, the Browns got another quarterback to ruin.
All right, let's.
Oh, look,
let's
the
see
Chargers even
what our
took a
grade is.
quarterback, Kyle McCord. How
See?
long before Kyle McCord starts over Justin Herbert, guys?
Well,
Yes,
Justin
no?
Herbert's gonna get hurt again at some point. So whenever he gets hurt
Mhm.
again,
Yep.
let's wrap up though, so we can
That'll wrap
see
it up.
how great or how terrible we did according to PFF. We all know their ratings are generally trash, anyways. But
Wow, it already wants to roast us. You drafted Andrew Makuba when you could have drafted this guy instead. Wow. Yeah, PFF
wow,
absolutely hates most of our rankings, except for Trey Amos, which go figure.
and look, hold up. Remember the guys that I was pounding the table for outside of Makuba, of course, but Quincy Riley, Quinn Ewers, B and B plus.
Yeah, that is. I'm
Yeah.
actually. Hold on. I'm trying to see if. Give me 1 second. I'm going to actually present the other screen. Give me a moment here.
Oh, you're over here doing the dual monitor thing. You
Yep. I want to just pull up the image of
casually
our
flexing your ass
draft.
all.
I want to pull up our draft as a whole because I actually really like how it started. The only
Mhm.
thing that I don't really like necessarily is how we basically just straight up said linebacker. Nah, we'll just take Sean Dolak. We're good. But I get
mean,
it in a way because we're already rich at the position. Terrell Bernard
Yeah.
and why did the other one just slip my mind for no reason? What is happening to me? Do I have dementia, Paul?
Dorian
Dorian
Williams, Matt
Williams.
Milano.
Yeah. Well, I'm not counting Matt Milano here because Matt Milano is pretty much going to be long gone at some point.
He's also on the last year of his deal.
Yeah, he's going to
Mhm.
be gone. And you know what's going to happen? It's going to be the worst thing in the world, but some team like Miami is going to be like, he's been injured a lot, but he still has something in the tank. Sold for 1 year.
With this draft, I feel like how it's orchestrated, I really love all of our picks. Like I feel like it
Mhm.
flows in a way that Bean would. I feel like this would be like a really Bean type draft.
And I feel like we hit all of our needs too.
Right.
We did this
One
without
thing I
any
would do
trades.
differently though, to me personally, I would have I would have traded back into the 3rd round for one of those receivers like a
Our
Royals or
rules for
a
no trades,
Williams.
Paul.
Even if
No,
that
it wasn't.
even
We never said
Well,
no trades. That was
we
last
never did say no trades, but I just don't feel like we had any real options
true.
because you
Though
would have probably
those
had to
would have
overextend.
been two great options if you wanted to trade back into the third round. Is Royals and Williams. I mean, even at 62, that would have been a good pick because Billy Bowman was still there when Torrey Horton was there at 109. So I
Mhm.
mean, Billy Bowman is a really good safety that the Bills could utilize, and he could be that good combo with Cole Bishop or Taylor Rapp. Billy Bowman could be. So I mean that those two picks and a possible pick in between could have I feel like could have elevated this draft from a really good overall solid draft hitting all of our needs and it flows really well to like an elite really good draft class
Mhm.
in the first like 5-6 picks of this draft.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Actually, I'm trying to bring up another draft that I did because I want to kind of use it as an example of what we might potentially be able to do in a trade. If I could get it to actually pull up here, I will show you guys something that I had considered at one point or another if it decides it wants to work. But basically there when you were talking about trade options earlier, Paul, I had actually when I do the other mock drafts for the Steelers, I tend to consider trades a lot because they have no picks. And I'll show you one that I did that involves Buffalo and one that I think Bean might probably want to consider. So I'm going to pull it up right over here and show you guys more of what I am talking about because this is kind of where I'm thinking they may wind up wanting to go. And I know one thing is you guys will absolutely hate the fact that when I did this draft, I put them all the way back into the second round. But because it just wants to be weird. So basically, I traded with the Bills, they traded the fourth round pick, which was 124 or a
Mhm.
123, and they gained a sixth round pick for the Steelers to move up to 109. And it's giving the Bills more late capital. And I feel like it's something that maybe they do or do not consider.
I wouldn't want that at all. I would rather gain capital in the early portion of draft than the later portion of this draft. To me,
I
if
get
just for
that.
this draft alone, and I feel like at the current state of where the Bills are at, get early capital rather than late capital. That's where I'm kind of like, can you shave the 10 picks from 10 to 7 picks and have five maybe and have four picks in the top 100 and maybe 5 picks in the top 200. I feel like that would be the perfect example. That would be the
Yeah,
perfect
that's another
way
one
for
actually.
the Bills to utilize their draft capital in the senses, can you go from late round picks to really good high quality early round picks in the
Hmm.
top 100 and top 150? I feel like that would benefit the Bills a lot more, and
Oh, it
then
would.
instead of just hoping that a sixth round pick turns into something.
It would. And I mean, that's just it about the draft, though, Paul. Every draft is a crapshoot. You will never know what player is going to do what where because of, how schemes are, and how coaching the culture is and all that other stuff. Like, look at what happened with well, it's actually no, this is actually a bad example because Keon got hurt. But you know how everybody's already wanting to throw Keon Coleman out the door when he already got hurt, and we're like, we should have never traded with the Chiefs to let them have Xavier Worthy. Did Xavier Worthy really look any good at one point in the season?
Yeah,
Yes,
he looked
but it was
okay
at
at times.
garbage time in the Super Bowl was when he
Well,
looked good.
speaking of Worthy, we all had an incredible reaction to when the Bills did the trade last year and when
Ah, that
Keon
was great.
Coleman was drafted, and we're gonna do the same thing again this year.
Oh
Thursday
yes.
night, Friday night, possibly Saturday. We're gonna be going live again for the draft. We have Dean coming on. on Friday, so that will be awesome. Probably get some random people to hop on again at some point. Like we had, I believe, Cade and Orlando both make appearances last year, so they'll probably show up at some point, possibly. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna be for real on Thursday. I mean, it's crazy. It feels like the off season has flown by, but yeah, we are ready to do that. And that should wrap up tonight's show. Next week we'll be recapping the draft and either overreacting or celebrating depending on how it goes. So let's we'll see everyone on Thursday and Friday. And again, subscribe to us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcast. Follow us all on Twitter, and as always, go Bills.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.